Alrighty, so I'm going to sit my phone right here and I'm going to just record and talk as I'm making my way back to our side of town. I just dropped our son off at basketball camp and he's there all day, all week. So this is going to be interesting because we're going to see how he works out how he does as far as doing basketball camp all day, and then he is supposed to be doing taekwondo in the evening, which if he has to take the time off from taekwondo, I know that his master will understand because he's been doing taekwondo forever, and this basketball camp is only for a week, but it's an intense camp from what it was explained to us. But anyways, that's not the point of this video. This past weekend, we had the opportunity we just took the time to pack up for the weekend. We went over to South Carolina to see my husband's family because we hadn't been over there in a while. And it just reminded me of how important it is that our kids know each other. We hadn't been over to his hometown probably in about a year. And, just to sit and hang out with family and friends, it was just eye-opening this past weekend that we need to do it more often. There was a family reunion, and we got there late, but nonetheless, we got there. And my son was able to meet and hang out with cousins that he didn't even know he had because family had come in from all over the country. And so for him to be able to hang out with cousins that were his age, they're in the rec room playing pool and just everybody having a good old time. It just reminded me of how important it was that even if you don't see each other all the time, get the family together so that the next generations know each other. Because here our son is 14. And he's just meeting some of his cousins from out of state for the first time in his life. And I'm just like, yeah, we got to do better. When I was growing up, I grew up in Ohio, first of all. And our family made a point to pack up, and we went to Georgia at least once a year for that family reunion when we were little. And so that was my dad's side of the family. My mom's side of the family, most generations were in Ohio. I mean, we go back many generations. My mother's family's always been in Ohio. And so we had our family reunions there as well. And I always knew who all of my family was. Well, not all, but I knew who a lot of my family was. And I could identify them by their last name or, who their grandparents was, because we knew these things. We kept in touch. But taking our son over here to South Carolina and him meeting his cousins for the first time, and they're 14, some are 13, 12, 16, 18. They're all in that age range where they're going to remember meeting each other. And thankfully, they exchange phone numbers, so they'll be able to keep in touch because, we're going back to our respective states where we live at. But just being able to see them having a good time and playing, and they played pool, which I didn't know my son could play pool so good, but, or so well, however you want to say it. But it was just really a nice time seeing him hanging out and, getting to know his family a little bit, even if it's just for the weekend. He got to meet them, and we're going to have to do this more often. I don't know why. It seems like the farther time goes along, the families really do get disconnected, and it's a shame. It's really a shame. Most of our grandparents are passed away, and I do understand that, mamas and big mamas, they were the thread that kept the family together. And I'm a Gen Xer. Yes, we have elders from the silent generation that are still out there, but it's going to be up to us to pull our family together and make sure that our kids and grandkids know each other. Because, Lord, let me tell you, you don't want your kids to not know who their cousins are. Little girl comes up Saturday asking my son how old he was, and my husband's like, hey, this is your cousin, such and such. And she's like, oh, we're cousins. Yes, ma'am. We are all cousins up in here. But because they didn't know who he was, she's like, hey. But anyways, just, do what you can. Family dynamics change. Don't let differences or anything or distances keep you from knowing your family, or keep your children from knowing who their families are. So I guess that's my spiel. When was the last time your family actually had a get together so that your children, and so that you can, sit and congregate with your people? When was the last time you all did that? Because I know for us, it's been a while. I mean, we get together with my sister, and, we visit just his mother, more often. But, and, my parents are passed away, so that's not even a factor. But my son knows who those immediate family members are. But to know who his cousins are, and, people that y'all have a common great grandmother, you need to know who those people are. So anyways, that is my spiel. I hope that everything is going well for you all, and tell me what you think. Leave it down in the comments, and you all take care.